Hey everybody, it's me, John Ward, and welcome back to another film discussion. I am here with my co-host, Donald Wills. How are you, Donald?
What's up, everybody?
What's up? What's up?
I'm doing good, man. How are you doing?
I'm holding up the
Raise the
screen.
roof. Raise the roof.
Raising the screen.
Raising the screen. Doing like a dance move.
That's right. I'm creating a new one. I'm pushing the walls. I'm pushing the screen walls.
Push the walls.
There we go.
Don't look as good as this.
Yeah. I'll leave that for other people. So welcome everybody to another film discussion. And this was Donald's idea. What was to do a whole episode on M. Night Shyamalan, and since I never pronounced his name correctly. And
it's Shyamalan ding dong. Get it right, man. Get it right.
I read on Wikipedia that is racist to call him that. So
I mean, everybody does it, so I guess we're all racist at this point, right?
I guess so. You know, he could just call himself like M. Night Johnson, and it would be much easier, or M. Night Smith, and then people, but he doesn't.
But M. Night Shyamalan is
M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah,
so I think I'm saying it right. M. Night Shyamalan. Yeah. So this is kind of a Halloween episode, and which I thought was appropriate. So, Donald, why M. Night, or as he just likes to be called, Night? Why Night?
I mean, why not? It's M. Night Shyamalan. He's famous for a reason, right?
Yeah.
I mean, as he was saying, with a twist.
With a twist.
With a twist.
Yeah.
So I'm going to assume.
That's family.
I'm going to assume. I'm not sure, to be honest. I just know. I think it was Robot Chicken that did that.
Yes, it was Robot Chicken. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Are you a fan of his? Do you like his movies?
I like his movies.
Do you like all his movies, or are they kind of hit and miss? Or
for most of his movies, I did kind of a scoring thing as I was watching. I spent the last 3.5 days watching all 15 of his movies.
I too have seen all of his films. I had to watch 3, and then I watched the 4th today, which was that the buried secret of M. Night Shyamalan, which was one of the most boring things I've ever watched, and it's just over 2 hours.
To be quite honest, I only got about a half hour into it. I didn't even watch the entire thing, mainly because I tortured myself with the movie I was going to skip, which I will get into later on.
I figured since I've now seen everything, I might as well just watch. I was in the same boat. I think I watched like an hour or sometimes half an hour. Like I kept trying to get through it, but this time I said, you know what, I'm going to get through it. And it basically amounts to nothing. And and it was made to promote The Village, and it was made by Sci-Fi Channel. And I guess they came into some problems that people thought it was real, and it was a hoax, and it was when it's clearly a hoax. And they even rip off the Dead Zone, because the buried secret is that when he was a kid, he tried helping a deer off of a frozen lake, and the ice broke, and he was under the water for, I think they said something like 30 minutes. And no, he was under the water for an hour, but like died for like 30 minutes. And then when he came back, he had all these powers, which is all of his movies up to The Village were based off of his abilities. So he could see dead people. He was kind of a superhero who had a thing against water. I don't know where science fits in. He lived.
He believes in aliens.
I guess
so. I mean, aliens are not actually aliens, John. Aliens are the spirits of the other world, but come in the form of green men or gray men at this point.
Okay. I will be honest. I have a love hate like relationship with him. I think that Buried Secrets was pure ego and narcissism. But I guess
Probably.
I mean, I guess if you come from nowhere, you're a little more humble, and then your films are a hit, and you're told you're the next Steven Spielberg or Rod Serling, and then you get this massive ego, and then your films start bombing, and you become a little more humble. I think like probably like Vin Diesel went through that, and it's
I mean, his first two films weren't even that successful. I don't even think his first one was ever released. Wide Awake was his first like major uh like Hollywood style of film, but then that was basically a bomb. And then his first success was The Sixth Sense.
which you would think that with two films prior that he wrote and directed, and the first one he starred in, that they'd probably be like, yeah, buddy, we're not banking on this. You know, you've had two bombs and now you want to make a movie that has nothing to do with your first two films. One of my major problems with him is being an actor. I if he does tiny stuff, that's fine, but
you don't like his cameos?
Lady in the Water, he gave himself the part of the writer who writes the book that saves the planet. He makes himself Jesus. If that isn't narcissism, I don't know what is. You literally gave yourself the part of Christ. I mean, Kevin Costner did that in Waterworld,
Wow.
Dancing with Wolves, and The Postman. And those were during his most egotistical years. And then he chilled out. So kind of the same thing. You know, he was a little humble. He got a little egotistical where he thought he was Jesus. And then he became a little more humble again. But I think with M. Night, it's funny is that he seemed to get more egotistical as his films bombed. So and I don't know how he keeps making movies. I mean, he's shooting something now. Or maybe it's not right now because of the strike, but he's in production. So
I mean,
I don't get it. I've seen all of his movies, including some of the ones that he produced, and we'll get into what we liked and stuff like that. But yeah. I own one movie.
I haven't seen any of the movies that he produced. I've stuck mainly to the ones he directed. So I haven't. I mean, if I have seen the movie and you go over them, I'll let you know. But as far as I know, I've only watched the ones that he directed himself.
So there's not that many. And some of these you don't even have to see. Like Stuart Little, that was his big movie before he started.
Okay, I have seen that one. Yeah, back in the day.
He was the writer on that.
Oh, the writer. Okay.
Yeah, so he became big because of, I think that's maybe what gave him, because when was Sixth Sense made? Sixth Sense was
1999.
99, and Stuart Little was 99, and Stuart Little was a huge hit. So he could probably use that writing credit to leverage directing The Sixth Sense. Okay. But he also did rewrites for She's All That. And then his new one coming up, which I don't think is that he's directing. I think he's just producing it. The Watchers.
And I'm not sure. Yeah, it might be a director. I mean, his last film was kind of
Well, let's see. The Watchers. I don't know if this is him or not. Maybe it's a relative, but it's Night Shyamalan, and it's Isaiah. Is Hannah? I'm not sure. Ishana.
Sounds like Isana. I'm not sure. Any of you watch this? If M. Night Shyamalan watches it, I apologize if I doubt you're watching, but in case you are, I apologize for mispronouncing whoever this person's name is.
I don't. So when you click on it, it goes right to him. So I don't
an alias.
Maybe it's The Watchers is based on an A.M. Shine novel. I don't know. And then he's also Cadio Lake. He's also listed as producer, and he's not the director of that. It's two other people, Celine Heald and Logan George.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, and it looks like it's kind of like a murder mystery type of thing. So those are coming soon.
Okay.
And then Devil is the only one that I would say that you should watch. He did the story for that and was the producer. He didn't direct it. That's John Eric Dowley.
Is that an anthology film?
No, it's a one location movie in an elevator, and it's a broken down elevator in a building, like an office building, and there's like 6 people in there, and one of them is the devil, and it goes back and forth with accusing and stuff. I actually liked it, maybe because he didn't direct it, but I thought it was. I liked it. I thought it was okay. I mean, I've seen it twice, because you don't know who the devil is, and then you go back and watch it to look for signs, kind of, of who the devil is. But I only own this. I only own The Happening. Which stars one of Hollywood's worst actors in the history of film, Mark Wahlberg.
I will say your DVD copy is a better looking copy than mine. Mine has the actor you're referring to on the cover.
In some cases, I only want like this cover. I've gone at I recently I took a DVD over the Blu-ray. Because I wanted
the bad art.
Yeah, I did. Oh yeah, the Machinist with Christian Bale. I hated the Blu-ray art, but I liked the DVD art, so I took the DVD instead. This is that same thing. This was more or less the poster, and I get there are special features on it: deleted scenes with introductions by M. Night, hard cut featurette.
I don't know if you can see it that well. Hold on, man.
That is awful.
You see it?
Yeah.
It's a little dark.
I would not. Yeah, I can see. I would not want that. No.
Yeah.
This is so much better.
It is. It is. I didn't. I messed up the order. Okay, we're good.
It includes over 1 hour of intense bonus footage not shown in theaters. There's an exclamation mark after it. But it's got a fair amount of special features on it. I did watch some of these, and it's written, produced, and directed by M. Night, rated R, but it is literally one of the worst acting jobs by Mark Wahlberg. And I put this on Facebook that I think because of Transformers, that he's one of the worst actors ever. I think he's shit. And he is so bad in this, and he's even said he's bad in it. That he's completely
At least he admits it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give him that. And this is.
Can you see this? Okay, I'm just making sure you can still see the artwork.
Yes. Yeah, you're good. Yeah.
All right. I had to move the light over a little bit.
See, it's funny is this is, I mean, written and directed by M. Night Shyamalan, starring Mark Wahlberg. These are not bonuses. These are not things that you should be advertising. But I do watch this every year on Earth Day.
On Earth Day?
Because this is so awful. It's great. It's one of my all-time favorite bad movies. This film should have got him blacklisted from Hollywood. It's that bad. So I only have one, but what do you have? I know you have more than one.
Oh man, I got like 10 out of the 15 movies he did.
10?
And 2. I I actually have 12 in total, but 2 of them are digitally.
Okay.
So I've already showed 2 of them, but I'll show them again. I have The Sixth Sense.
Okay. We'll discuss Sixth Sense. I have things to say.
Try to keep these. Unbreakable.
Yes.
This is the, I guess, like a special edition. Has like 2 discs. It's like
yeah. Do you have the postcards inside? Yeah, there they are.
Yeah, I don't know if that's signed.
I think it's it's.
I don't know if it's like
put
one of
into
those.
The card.
Okay, that's what I thought. I wasn't sure. I was like, I don't think that's signed because that would look.
Yeah, no, it's.
I mean, it would be nice, but
yeah,
no. Signs.
Okay.
The Village.
Oh, okay.
I have a funny story about The Village. We'll get to.
I can't imagine anything with The Village is funny, but okay.
I think you might get kicked out.
Okay.
Lady in the Water with the lenticular slipcover.
Okay, so that's nice. Okay, yeah, that looks good.
Your favorite movie of all time?
God, that cover is awful.
The beautiful slipcover.
So bad. They literally just put him right here. Like you could still see the cars kind of around him. They just put him right there.
Let me see the artwork real quick. Yeah, they kind of like zoomed in. Yeah, that's pretty much what they did. The Last Airbender.
Okay.
Which is the movie I suffered through just a half hour ago, just to say I watched all 15 movies.
We'll get into it.
After Earth.
Oh my! Oh, okay. We'll get into it. We'll go film by film.
I swear you're going to do that every time I show one, aren't you?
Most likely.
Split.
No, that I liked.
This is good. I'm not going to get too much into it. I actually enjoyed the trilogy.
I like the trilogy, and I'll explain, especially with Glass.
And Glass.
Glass I liked.
Okay.
Not a lot of people do.
And the 2 digital I have is The Visit and Old. I have digitally. I only watched Knock at the Cabin because it was free on Amazon Prime.
Knock at the Cabin, I think, is one of his best ones. But I've heard that it's like he completely missed the point of the book. The Cabin at the Edge of the World, I think, is what it's called, and that that he just didn't get it. He didn't understand the book. But I haven't.
There were some changes. I didn't ever read the book, so I can't comment on the book. But I know the main difference that everyone would seem to be upset about. But from not watching the book, I was like, I'm kind of okay with that because that would have sucked. I would have hated that.
Well, what was it? It's been out long enough. I think we could do spoilers.
All right. Well, before we go any further, if you have not watched any of these M. Night Shyamalan movies and you do not want to be spoiled, consider this right here a spoiler.
There you go.
You have been warned.
You have been warned.
Apparently, the difference is that in the book, one of the characters, during the scene when he was fighting Batista's character, Leonard, for the gun, apparently he accidentally shoots the little girl in the book.
Oh, does she die?
And she dies.
Oh,
but wow. But they can't consider that the sacrifice because it was not truly sacrificed. And the ending is they said, screw the world, the apocalypse happens, and they just walk out the door.
Oh, I like that better. I do. I like that better. So when you give a cure or like Contagion, and I still love that Gwyneth Paltrow's the one who almost destroyed the whole world, because of course it would be Gwyneth Paltrow. That by the end they have a cure, and I don't like that. I don't like that at all. So it shouldn't have been a cure.
I think I think when they try to do cures, sometimes I think that's just they wrote themselves into a corner and they just don't know where to go at that point. And they're trying to make a happy ending at some point, so they just like, humanity made a cure, and the zombies or whatever it is at that point were cured. It's just automatically.
No, they no,
No,
no.
that's not how that works.
As much as I'm a fan of Resident Evil and the final chapter, a little when Alice lets go of, like, I don't know, the pellet or bomb or whatever she has, and like the green mist comes up to cure everything, like every zombie is cured or whatever, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like, but wait, that that would take hours, days, years. I mean, what are you talking about? So that it's kind of ridiculous. And
Yeah.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
Outbreak, the one with Dustin Hoffman, who's horribly miscast, that also has like a happy ending to it. So
Mm-hmm.
I prefer than the book for Knock at
Yeah.
the Cabin, but I did like the movie. I felt that he was restrained. So I tend to think that it's, and plus I like End of the World movies and I like One Location movies like Devil. So I do think it's one of his best films.
Okay.
So, but it's so if we're now, you watched, right? Did you watch Praying with Anger?
I did.
How was it? How was he?
Okay, let's get into it, shall we?
Ah,
I
let me
have
get my
notes.
notes.
I
Wow.
made
Okay.
notes.
Jeez,
Lots of notes.
that bad.
Lots of paper. Oh, okay. Now it's not just. This is for all 15 of his movies.
Okay.
This isn't. Praying of Anger is just like usually had about three because I just really didn't take too many notes on a lot of the other movies because I didn't. I mean, it is what it is. So I guess Praying with Anger. I guess his first two movies are more him trying to go back to some of his roots. I guess like Praying with Anger was basically him trying to make a story in India, so it's not in Philadelphia,
Okay.
and basically like I guess trying to make a movie about where his family came from, him being his character being a troubled school kid. I guess it gets into fights and stuff. You find out later in the movie that he just defended himself one time, and he was misunderstood. He was just trying to defend himself, and they got him. He got in trouble and got shipped to India. And basically, it's him trying to learn like from his father and all that. Basically, it's almost like a spiritual journey kind of deal.
Is there a musical number in it?
No, no, there's no musical numbers.
And it's India? Come on. Zombie movies from India have musical numbers in them.
I mean, they did have
Come on, M.
some dance.
Night.
They did. They did have. He did have during the beginning credits. He had a girl dancing in like a silhouette kind of deal. So I guess you can kind of count that.
Okay, okay, okay.
Uh,
And then what about his? Because I won't watch these. I have no. So what about Wide Awake? So Praying with Anger was 1992. Wide Awake is 1998.
yes.
How was Rosie O'Donnell?
She wasn't even in the movie that much,
She
believe it or
does get
not.
the end credit. Yeah, so she's probably like was there for 2 days or something.
Uh, she's um she's in it for like out of the I forget how long the movie is, but it's an hour and 28 minutes. I do have the time written
Oh,
down.
thank God.
And I think she's only in it for like maybe 15 of the hour and 28 minutes. Like she only has like little clips. Like you see her uh, as one of the teachers. Then you see her halfway in the movie when she's talking to the kid about what he's doing, and then basically at the end when they're going to take a picture at the end of the year, school year or whatever. So
So
she's not really. It's more about this kid, I guess. It's basically a kid's film, and it's basically him going through his grieving phase when he lost his grandfather, and him and his grandfather were very close. And basically, it's him saying he wants to find God. He wants to ask God why did you take away my grandfather? Why didn't you know, all these answers and stuff like that. And it's basically him, I guess, more or less like coming to terms with why his grandfather had the faith he did and all that. So it's not a Christian movie. Don't get it. It does have Catholic. It sounds like it, but I'm not the best sales pitch. So
Yeah, I don't know if you're a diehard fan of a filmmaker, then I guess you would have to include those. Like,
yeah.
I mean, me being a massive Tom Cruise fan, I have his first film, Endless Love, which actually isn't a bad movie, but he's only in the film for 34 seconds.
Yeah.
So, and that's not an exaggeration. It's actually 34
I
seconds.
I think a lot of times, like for example, I think the only reason they threw Rosie O'Donnell in here on the title cards of the movie was because at that time she was big at that point. You know, she had her own show and all that. I think pretty sure she had her own show at that point, didn't she?
I'm not sure of the show, maybe, but I mean, she
But
was
she had
doing
the Rosie O'Donnell show, the talk show, I think.
Yeah, and what is it? She was in the baseball movie, A League of Their Own. So yeah, at one point she was doing stuff. So the 98, and
so this may have been during that time. So that's why I think they just put her name on it to say, hey, she's in this movie. Dennis Leary was in it,
so she, yeah, because she was on like around that time. Yeah, like Suddenly Susan, Spin City. She was on a few episodes. She was on Blue's Clues, Murphy Brown.
Blue's Clues.
Yeah. Like
now.
one episode. So I don't know, but before, okay, Rosie O'Donnell show, 96 to 2002.
Okay, so that would have been the time because it was 98. So that would have been around that time. So she was right at pretty much at the height of her popularity at that point. So it kind of made sense. M. Night needs a big name to put on the movie poster. So
Sure.
Why not Rosie O'Donnell? Got people to want to watch it, even though it failed miserably.
Yeah, and if you're a diehard fan, you would buy those. I mean, it's like
to be honest with you, it wasn't that bad. I expected a lot worse.
I've seen stuff with her that I like. You know, she's not horrible, but I would never see a movie because of her. I would see a movie that she's in, but
and that's pretty much what it is. It's more about the kid more than her. Like I said, she's like a supporting role more than a main role. So
okay, all right, okay. So that's his
first two films. I did give these ratings. Now I don't know if you want me to give those or not, but
we could go through. Okay, yeah. So let's go in order.
Yeah, we'll go through order. I can do. Do you want me to do the ratings as I'm going through, or?
Okay, so next would be The Sixth Sense, which is 99, and I do have things to say about that. So, yeah, we could just do ratings for each one as we go. Sure.
Okay. All right. Well, I did it out of 5, so I'll do my ratings for the first two since you haven't seen these first two. Praying with Anger. Now, keep in mind here, the only way I was able to see this was on YouTube, and the YouTube quality was very, very pixelated. But I couldn't fault that to the director because that's not how he intended the movie to be seen.
Right.
If he ever meant for the movie to be seen, I don't know. But I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 because it wasn't terrible. It was actually pretty good. It was a slow start, but as you get on, you start to get more invested in his character. You start to get more, it's pretty good. If I could find a DVD copy, I wish he would release it on DVD or Blu-ray. I don't think he ever will, but I may have to resort to bootlegs.
Sometimes you got to. If they don't release stuff, sometimes you got to. I have no problem with that at all. So
I mean, M. Night, if you're watching, it's your fault now.
It's somebody's fault. Well, he's an actor in it, right?
Yeah, he's the main actor.
Main actor. How was he as an actor?
I mean, for his first, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't the worst acting I've ever seen, but you can tell he was a very beginner actor at that point.
I mean, in some
When you
cases,
see,
to save money, you have to.
yeah, I mean, this being his first movie, I mean, I doubt he even had a budget for it. I mean, I'm assuming that he made the movie when his parents went over to India to visit their family and stuff where he was born, and he just took his camera and just made this movie, and then had the friends over there he had play other characters with him and stuff like that. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I mean, like Vin Diesel, Strays, he starred and directed that. That was like his first thing. So
Vin
at times
Diesel
you have
directed
to.
movies.
Yeah,
I didn't know he directed
he
movies.
directed a film called Strays. It's what Steven
Strays.
Spielberg saw, and that's why he got cast in Saving Private Ryan. Was because of
Okay.
Strays. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that. I'll have to see that movie now.
It's available. It's on that one is available on DVD.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll have to check it out.
Okay. So then Wide Awake.
Wide Awake, I went into it with very low expectations. That's probably why I give it a pretty high rating. I gave this one a 4 out of 5.
Okay.
Because I actually enjoyed it. It kept me entertained. Very few movies can ever actually spark emotion in me. And this one actually, did start getting a little, allergies started flaring up a little bit. So,
Oh, okay.
I mean, well, let's be real here. When it kind of started take me back to how me and my mom used to be. We were close, just like him, the kid and his grandfather. So that's kind of like, yeah, I could see what you're going through. I know exactly, the pain of loss and all that. So what I mean.
I get it. I felt the same way in Godzilla 1985 when he fell into the volcano and was doing his Godzilla scream. I started to tear up in the audience. It really sucked.
There you go.
Same
I mean,
thing.
Same thing.
Same thing. Did M Night have a cameo?
I don't think so. I don't think he did it in Wide Awake. I on his Wikipedia page it did see, but I didn't see any.
I got it up right here. So let's see if he's. I'll click on cast. Let's see. Maybe it will show him in it. Does
because
not.
I did look for him.
Yeah, maybe he wasn't doing that yet. I don't see him listed in anything. So
no, I don't think he started doing cameos until The Sixth Sense. And from what I understand, there's only 2 movies that he doesn't have a cameo in.
What 2 are those?
After Earth and The Happening. They say Joey, the one that kept ringing her phone, is him, but I'm like, yeah, no, you're pulling a string there at that point.
I guess because there's pretty much just only 2 people in After Earth, and fucking Smith family, and okay, all right, okay. So The Sixth Sense.
The Sixth Sense I actually enjoyed.
That's 1999.
1999. And I will say, I enjoyed it, but I seen the twist so far ahead of what was happening.
I did not see the twist. I should have
see the twist,
but I did not see the twist. I've seen the film probably 3 times, and I think it is one of his worst movies.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
Because it's a giant cheat. First, there's the scene where the first thing that I noticed after watching it a few times is you got the mom on one side of the room, you got Bruce Willis on the other side of the room, and they're waiting for the son to come home. Now, on first viewing, it just looks like they're not talking to each other, right? They're just waiting for the kid to come home. But if you remove that scene, there's a problem, because even with that scene, Bruce Willis should be going, why aren't you talking to me? Why are you ignoring me? Talk to me.
Yeah.
If he's walking on the street, he should be talking to people who won't respond. If he gets off a bus, the door will close on him. So to me, it's if you've never seen it before, it's a good twist until you think about it. And then it's like, this makes no sense.
Well,
because
to be
Bruce would be going crazy. Why is anybody talking to me?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Here's what gave it away for me. The part where he's going to meet his wife at the dinner table at the restaurant, and he sits down and he starts talking to him, and she's just like staring off, just looking around. Like, if you were so mad at somebody, wouldn't you just like just shake your head no, like, act like you're so peed off at them? And she just like she was like no one was even there. Right. And as soon as and it's just like, as soon as he goes to grab the checkbook, she grabs it, says "Happy Anniversary" under her breath, and walks away. And it's like, at that point, I was kind of like, I was like, he's dead, ain't he? This is the first time I've seen it, so that's why I was like, nah, I think he's dead. I don't think he's alive.
Yeah, there's a lot of, if he did something a second earlier, it would be a problem. Like, what happens if he was a second earlier and his hand got to the checkbook? Yeah. Would his hand be resting on the checkbook, or would it go through the checkbook?
Who knows?
And I saw this on a video that I watched about his movies, is why are the ghosts that the kids seeing the way they are? Like, why are some of them normal? And then he has the 3 that are hanging in the hallway. So why are they hanging in the hallway, but like some of the other ghosts are fine?
I guess I'm the way I interpreted it is that the one that he kept seeing was the girl that was throwing up and all that. That was the girl that he was supposed to help reveal to her father that her mother was poisoning her. Again, like I said before, people, spoilers for every movie, so it's just another warning here.
So 23 years old, so
so I mean, hey, you've been warned. So I looked at it as like, I guess some of those ghosts that he's seeing are older. And I'm guessing like maybe, I don't know, maybe the bad ghosts are the ones that look really rough and out of shape, or like gruesome looking, and the good ones are like, just trying to have things resolved, to the ones that not look grisly, like Bruce Willis's character doesn't know he's dead until he points it out.
But if the 3 people are hanging in the hallway, do they have to acknowledge that they're dead hanging in a hallway to be looked at as being dead in a hallway? Because Bruce Willis, and I do like Donnie Wahlberg being in it, I thought he was good. Wouldn't he have a gunshot wound? Like, wouldn't his shirt be bloody? That's why I think it's a script that a producer read and probably went, holy shit, this is brilliant. But on second, and then you watch it for a second viewing to say, okay, let's look at all these things. But by the third viewing, it's like, this doesn't make sense. Like, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't. Yeah, I don't think it holds water. I don't think it holds up. I don't think it's a good, I think it's like, on paper, I don't know. I just don't think it's,
I think this is like a good film for like a first time watch, but then after you watch it the second and third time, that once you know the twist, that I can see a problem with M. Night's movies, is that, he does the twist, but after you know what the twist is, you're gonna look at it like, okay, maybe go back and see, okay, like what were some of the foreshadowing and stuff, and then you look at it, it's like, was there really foreshadowing in this movie at this point?
Yeah,
I mean, maybe.
I mean, if Bruce Willis got into a cab, would the cab driver know he's there? Would he be yelling at the cab driver? I need to get across town. This is an emergency.
I mean, you did see that he was basically like, just showing up out of nowhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's why I have difficulty with it. So, what would your rating be on it?
I gave it a 5 out of 5 because I did enjoy it the first time. Now that you say that, what you said, I can see the problems with it, but I still enjoyed it. I'm still going to give it a 5 out of 5 because I did enjoy it, even though I did see the twist from far away. I might drop it to a 4, but for right now, I'm just going to keep my scores the way I had them when I first. Oh, and also, this might make you hate the movie even more. Did you know Kathleen Kennedy was the producer?
Oh Christ! Well, that's before she got. That's before she became, South Park Kathleen Kennedy. So it's the Cartman version. At one point, she used to be a good producer, but I don't know if there's any proof of that. I mean, it's. I mean, I still think that she's always just been a glorified secretary who can't even make coffee. It's. But yeah, I mean, if her name's on it back then, it probably meant something more. So,
Yeah,
I mean, like, I'm not going to criticize ET because her name is on it, or Raiders of the Lost Ark, but I will criticize her for, you know, Dial of
I
Destiny.
have I have a personal beef with ET because it killed my favorite movie, one of my favorite movies, and that was
Well,
Blade Runner.
well, it also killed the Thing.
So that makes me hate it even more.
The Thing bombed and got John Carpenter blacklisted from Hollywood because of ET.
Oh man.
And Blade Runner is a great movie, but at least both of those films have found
At least it has some
a
cult
base.
following. At least
Yeah,
at least it
where
has a
I
cult
don't think
following now. I mean,
I don't think anybody
ET
cares about
kind of
ET.
like fell by the wayside. I mean, for God's sakes, ET now has people shooting people with walkie-talkies now. What?
They pull the trigger and it's just static. But at least on that
Please.
anniversary edition, it has the original version and that version. So
Well, that's good. At least they did fix that eventually.
yeah,
The people
he
that
did.
are anti-guns can watch the walkie-talkie version. The people that don't care can watch the gun version.
Normal people.
Normal people.
So I give The Sixth Sense 3 stars out of 5.
Okay, that's fair.
I mean,
That's
it's
fair.
well shot, it's well made, it's well acted. It's he obviously put thought into.
I do have the copy of The Sixth Sense.
Yeah, which I would probably own at some point if there was like an M. Night collection. I would probably pick it up.
There
So
is. I have to look it up again.
the
My problem with his collections, they never have the movies in the right order. That irritates me for no reason. Like they'll have like Unbreakable, Split and Glass, like all three together, which makes sense because they're a trilogy. But me, I'd be like, I want them in chronological order, publicized order. You know what I mean? Like release
I
date.
I want that. I do want that. There's a Blu-ray that has Unbreakable, Split, and Glass, and I do want to buy that.
Is that the one
So
that is that the one that's called the Entra 177 trilogy?
yeah, I think so.
That's what they
Yeah,
call it. Yeah, I did see that. That's one I do want to see if I can pick up at some point.
yeah, especially if they're all on individual discs. So I don't want them on
Yes.
the disc together. They need to be individual. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I would still recommend The Sixth Sense. But I think as an average film goer, if it's just Joe Blow, they would love it and probably
Hmm.
watch it all the time and not care. But I mean, if you get around people who know film and writing and
Yeah.
it's just I give M. Night credit because he probably did sit down and like really work that out. Like shit, we can't have him on a bus, but he can be walking down the street.
Hmm.
He can't be in a taxi, but he can be sitting in a chair. So
Yeah.
which is fine. So
I mean, it makes sense, but then it's like, as I said, he shows up right when he's needed. So I'm assuming that the kid needed him at that point, and he just shows up because he needs him. I mean, that's the only thing that's the only explanation I can come up with
Yeah,
at this point.
it's hard to say. So it works on the first viewing. It kind of works on the second viewing because you're like, oh, okay, now let's go back and look at this whole thing. But by the third viewing, I think that it's just like, no, this doesn't work.
Yeah.
Um,
but then again, there are some people that are just mindless popcorn watchers. These are perfect for mindless popcorn watchers.
Oh yeah,
they're not for people like us that are like, but that doesn't fit in with continuity now. That doesn't make sense with the scene earlier in the film. It's like
we're definitely we're in the minority on that one. So yeah. I don't blame people for liking it or loving it. So, but we're in the minority.
Like I said, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. So now we have Unbreakable, which is 2000, and this is when he started writing, directing, and producing.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry. Hold on. Unbreakable. When I did my viewing of all of them, I skipped Unbreakable because I wanted to watch Unbreakable with the other two.
I would do that.
Splitting.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. So I have to find Unbreakable. Here, just give me a minute. Go ahead, keep talking.
I think Unbreakable is better than The Sixth Sense. I think it is one of his best films. I think I love the idea that it ends up being a superhero movie, and it's the creation of a villain, and without it being, without it being a Man of Steel type of thing. It's just I like his son, who figures out through the newspapers that it's him, and kind of like freaked out at the same time, like this is you. I like that it's a raincoat. I like that. I think
it's more realistic than a Superman or a Batman or anything like that.
Yeah,
it's like it's like a normal everyday guy that's trying to live his everyday life, and he just so happens to be super strong, and
he's never been sick. He survives in accidents and doesn't get a scratch, which then, Mr. Glass is the exact opposite, that he's always sick and breaking bones. And the fact that he, kind of gives himself that name, Mr. Glass, which is a great villain name.
I think when you watch the movie, when you see him as a kid, that was what the kids were calling him, was Mr. Glass.
Mr. Glass. Okay.
Because
he took the name from
he just took the name because they were making fun of him, calling him Mr. Glass. And he didn't like it because his mom wanted him to go outside and play. He's like, you don't know what they're calling me. They're calling me Mr. Glass. And she's like, wear that with a badge of honor. And then that's when she gave him his first comic book, and that's when he became obsessed with comic book characters.
Yeah, and the whole comic book stuff was great, and
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think the script was written earlier. I don't think like it was a brand new script. I think that he already had it, and then when they said, "Okay, you're the man. Sixth Sense made $1 gazillion. What do you want to do?" and he's like, "Unbreakable," and it's. I really liked it, just from the psycho, like, home invasion, when he knocks on the door and the person opens and he goes, "I like your house," and then he's and all Bruce Willis's character has to do is like rub up against somebody, and he
just touch somebody, and he gets like a sense, like a flashback of what they did, and like just like instances and stuff.
Yeah, and him like in the like the train station when he puts out his hands and he's just and the people are kind of going by him, touching his hands. I really like that. I like how he finds out that water is like his kryptonite, with the swimming pool. It's just, I love how it ends. I love how Mr. Glass is like derailing trains to find him. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah. I thought it was very. I will give this to M. Night. He does know how to do shots right. Like when you see his movies, they're always beautifully shot. Even the worst movie, which we'll go into, it was still had beautiful scenery. It was still shot very well. Even if his
Yeah.
movie is the worst movie ever. So I will give him credit. He does pay attention to how a scene is shot. When like what you just said, when Bruce Willis is standing in the scene and all in the subway, is it the subway station, bus station, whatever he was
It's
standing
where
in.
I think it's a
I think it was a train station,
yeah, it might be a train
subway
station somewhere
station.
in there. But yeah, it's a
But
station.
when you see the people going by there, it's like, holy crap, that is shot so beautifully, and you're seeing what he's doing. It makes sense. So yeah, I think that's one thing I'll give M Night. He definitely. I think he's one of those ones where like, nah, I don't like that scene. Refilm it again. No, that was off. Refilm it again.
I mean, it's possible.
Perfect.
I think at this point he's still being a little more humble. It's not until he hits the village where all of a sudden it's I'm God type of thing, where I'm like the greatest filmmaker on the planet. So what would you, because we have a lot of films to go through, and yeah, so what rating would you give this?
I gave Unbreakable 4.5 out of 5.
I give it a 5.
There you go.
Yeah, I definitely give it a 5. And then, okay, so then our next one would be Signs, 2002. Did you like Signs?
It was okay. Signs wasn't terrible. It wasn't great either, but I gave it an average score. I gave it a 3 out of 5. So I'll just say the ratings right out the bat. I do have the DVD copy. I've seen it twice. Not sure. I don't know why. I didn't realize this at first. I thought Macaulay Culkin was in it, but no, I think it's one of his brothers.
Yeah, it's one of the other brothers. Yeah.
Yeah. So
It should,
at first
it should say it on the back.
it does. It does now. At first, I watched it so long ago, and he does look like Macaulay Culkin from far away. So, but I was like, no, that's not Macaulay Culkin. That's his brother.
Yeah, it's all of them at one point kind of looked like each other, and then they kind of grew out of that. But I really liked Signs. I was wondering, like,
I enjoyed it. I liked the aspect of I like the story aspect more than the alien aspect of it. I mean, the whole the priest that lost his faith because of his wife dying kind of has to rekindle that.
Who kills her? This is my favorite cameo.
Mr. M. Night Shyamalan.
M. Night kills Mel Gibson's wife.
Darn you, M. Night!
If they move the car, she'll go in two. She'll actually split in half. And so I like that he's because he doesn't do much acting. He's just kind of there crying, and he's like, oh my God. And those are the cameos that I like from him. But I do like that he is the one who kills her. I like Mel Gibson in this. I wonder if he wanted to use Bruce Willis, but it's like, dude, no, you can't go 3 times. 2 is good. Bring him back some other time. I like the kids. I like the house, which they mention in The Buried Secret, was the house that M. Night lived in from ages, I think it's like 10 to 12 years old.
Yeah.
And that the house then and that it was the same house that was used in Signs. And then it got mowed down or something like that. Like that house holds some sort of significance to aliens and M. Night. Now, my problem with it is water. And in The Buried Secrets, they do bring up water a lot because of M. Night, drowning in water. So he has a thing for water. So I love the aliens. I love that shot that Joaquin Phoenix, who I normally don't like, but I liked him in this, where he's looking down like the alleyway and the alien kind of does like the Bigfoot turn into the camera and then it walks past. That shot where we first see the aliens, I thought was brilliant.
That was that wasn't Walking Phoenix in an alleyway. That was he was watching the TV, and that was the news. That was a news clip.
Oh no, I'm saying yeah, he's watching it, but it's like shot
Yeah,
down
he's
some
watching.
sort
Yeah.
of alleyway or whatever it is.
Yeah, that was very well done. I
Yeah,
like
and the
that.
alien kind of turns and looks and then goes on, and it's like it's very
Yeah.
creepy. I even thought the aliens looked good. Now I'm going to give my rating now and explain why. I give this 3 stars when it should have been more. My big problem is, why would aliens go to a planet that affects them with water when the planet is mostly water?
I agree with you 100% there. I also gave it a 3 out of 5 as well, and that is my exact same problem. If an aliens are so freaking smart and so technically advanced, why would they land on a planet that's about 85% water? If they could die from water.
It doesn't, and they just happen to go into the one house where the daughter leaves half-filled glasses of water everywhere that can then be hit by a baseball bat.
Well, technically, if you think about it, if you remember in the movie, the aliens leave. The only reason this alien was hostile is because Mel Gibson cut his fingers off.
Oh, that's right.
So
yeah,
because when he goes into, I forget the character's name that M. Night played, but he went into his house. He said, "Hey, I trapped one in a in the pantry. Don't go in there." So he goes in to see what it looks like, and he puts his hands out and he chops his fingers off. That's why it was so hostile. Because hey, you hurt me, I'm coming back to hurt you.
Yeah. See, I liked him in this. I thought it worked because he was, that awkwardness between him and Mel, and then Mel Gibson in real life, who is a religious nut, that he plays the priest who loses, his faith. And I thought this film really worked. I probably would give it a 5 out of 5, or at least a 4.5. If the water thing wasn't there. That is a huge, and certain alien films have that problem, like War of the Worlds, and the original one done in the 50s that's fine, it's the 50s, but the one that Spielberg did with Tom Cruise, why wouldn't the aliens scan the planet and find out that there's all these diseases that would eventually kill them?
Well, the thing is, that's how the book was written.
Right, but it doesn't work now. Like back in the 50s,
it doesn't work now, but
it's the common
back in
cold.
the 50s. Oh my God, when was the book written? I think the book was written back in the 30s, I think.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
so aliens weren't really a technical thing at that point. So you know what I mean. So it worked back then, but it wouldn't work today. Like today, it just doesn't make sense. Aliens are, like I said, aliens are supposed to be technologically advanced way beyond our capabilities and so smart and so intelligent. How would they make that dumb of a decision?
That's why I have an issue when I talk to people if aliens exist or not, because it's like, if they do, they would never come to Earth. I mean, they'd see that we're so primitive. Why would they? I mean, it's like, at least in Independence Day, they kind of did a trick where they're like, oh yeah, we're going to send the aliens a virus, but it's like through the computer. But the virus was obviously War of the Worlds, because they got the cold, the common cold is basically what killed them. And so they're doing an electronic virus. That to me makes more sense. But and I don't really have a problem with the aliens having an issue with water so much, but it just make it something that's not a huge resource, that they're affected by. I mean, like, I don't think Superman would make his home world on the planet Kryptonite.
No,
it doesn't make sense.
Like, make it that they're not able to touch copper or something, because not everything's made of copper. I mean, I'm just using that. That probably would have been a better way to go. And they killed him because his ring was made of copper, and he killed. I don't know, probably so much.
No, like he has like a ring, and the alien comes at him, and he hits him in the face, and his face starts to dissolve,
melt away, or something.
He's like, oh shit, maybe it's the wedding ring that his wife gave him, something like that, and but it's a movie I can watch over and over and over again, even with that
Yeah,
huge flaw.
yeah,
So
yeah. I've watched it twice, and where I got the Mel Gibson's famous line, "Ah, I'm insane with anger."
you love that line.
I do, I do. I was saying it the entire time I was setting up here because everything was giving me hard times.
Okay, so even though The Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, and Signs made a lot of money,
Yeah,
he could not. He was having. This is the film that gave him problems, and the next one is The Village, and that's 2004. I hated this movie. It is to me a very poorly written Twilight Zone episode where in the trailer, I was like you with Sixth Sense. I went, oh, it's modern day. They're not back there.
I have a funny story behind this
Oh
movie.
yes, you okay. What is it?
So my introduction to M. Night Shyamalan was this movie.
Oh, man, why did you
Okay,
continue?
okay. Hear me out. The reason that I got to watch this was for some reason, and keep in mind, I was like 6 at the time. I wasn't very old. I didn't really know who M. Night Shyamalan really was, but they showed this at my youth pastor showed this at our church.
Big Signs would be better,
Why?
but okay.
I don't know why. But this is the first time I've seen it, and it soured me on M. Night for a while.
I don't
So
blame you.
just last, so and I really knew nothing about it. I don't remember it that well, so I was like, well, let me watch it again to see if I liked it this time. I I went through 3 different ratings. At first, I was going to give it. I was at first I was going to give it. At first, I gave it a 3.5 because I was like, well, I didn't understand it. Maybe that's how it was intended. Then it went down to a 2.5. I was like, I can't be that mean because I have worse movies that have that same rating, and so I ended with a 3. It's an average movie. I might watch it again, but it kind of right over my head.
I have to go. I need to grab something, which is right here. I can't do my rating without this. So I'm going to do this quickly right here. Um, I thought of wearing this through the whole thing since it's kind of like Halloween. But so almost done. Almost done. I have to tie it.
The suspense. The suspense is killing us, John Ward.
So this is my my village costume.
So you need the claws and
Yeah, I have to
the rat face.
The hood's not working right, but there it goes. So this is my, or something close to it, but this is my, there we go. This is my village costume. I give this movie a 2 stars. I like that, Bear. That's scarier than what was in the movie. So 2 stars for me on The Village. I like the actors. I like the one location. It was well made. It was a when you have to explain everything, it's not good. So when they're explaining,
did he even do that? Did he even explain everything?
But they explain like why planes don't fly over because it's restricted, because they're like all millionaires or something, so they restricted the air. And then they send out a blind girl, but yet the monster's after her. So why send the monster if she's blind?
But what I don't understand is they tell her that the monsters were, that the whole thing was fake, and then the monster came after her, which we found out was the guy with the mental problems, and I,
And this is
and all the elders were originally people that had dramatic things happen to them in their life, so that's why they moved out to become essentially Amish style people.
yeah, yeah, kind of like hippies type things, but yeah, in an Amish. Yeah, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
No.
It's a bad Twilight Zone episode, and then they did that. Yeah, you know, that Secrets of M. Night documentary that was awful, and I think
Mm-hmm.
this is when his ego was really starting to hit,
Yeah.
and it was after The Village where everybody, I think, just went, "Uh-oh, maybe he's not the guy we thought," because what comes after that is, oh God, Lady in the Water 2006. That was 2 years later, and he could not find funding, and he wrote a whole book about it. So now I can take this off because now we're done with The Village.
Done with the Village.
I can't even watch that again, and I love Paul Giamatti, and I can't watch it. That's the film where he makes himself Jesus. Like, why would you give yourself that part unless you have such a massive ego? I mean, that, God, what a horrible movie.
I didn't hate it, but I did have a problem with the DVD. The DVD stopped rating halfway in the movie.
Oh, that sucks.
So I ended up having to rent this from Amazon. So I had to pay like $2
for one of his.
versus owning it for $10. I was like, nah, I'll just rent it since I had the DVD. I don't know. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 because I did enjoy it,
My
but
God.
but I do my ratings on, did I like the movie? Did the movie keep me entertained? Did I watch it through to the end without sitting there going, oh, is it over yet? Is it almost over? Like I did in later movies.
I knew the history. I followed the history because he was such a prominent filmmaker at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and it was everything that we heard about of how bad it was, and
Oh
it's.
yeah.
I do like the one location aspect, but and the acting
I
is
think
good,
almost
but
all of his movies have one location aspects anymore.
that's true. Yeah, the lot. Yeah, old is on a beat. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's probably a budgetary thing, but it's, yeah. Even
But
The
I don't
Village is
understand
technically
though.
on location.
I don't understand that though because he has like a lot of these movies are like he spends like how many $1 billion to get $1 million to get these things to do these movies?
I I don't know
I think
the
he's just so freaking cheap that he just wants to do everything on a very. He tries to make everything so as cheap as he possibly can, so that he can make the most money, even if he does. So even if the movie bombs, he can at least still make something back from it.
I mean, it's possible. A lot of people, well, almost everybody thinks that Yui Boll is like the worst filmmaker out there. No way. I'm sorry. I'm a fan. I've been a fan of his for a long time, and I think his movies are 100 times better than M. Night's. They, at least, they make
I've never
sense.
seen him. I've never seen any of his movies, so
Yeah,
I
I
have
mean,
to.
he did, like, House of the Dead, which is
Oh
his.
yeah, yeah, you were telling me about that. I need to
Yeah,
see
In
those
the
at
Name
some
of the
point.
King. He made a
In
whole
the
bunch of
name of the
films.
king.
Yeah,
I think I have that one.
there's
The
three
first
of
one.
those.
He did the first one.
Yeah, which I think has Jason Statham in it. The one has Dolph
Not.
Lundgren.
I'm not sure. I have to look. I may have that one.
But I think
Check.
he's a better filmmaker than M. Night.
Okay.
So I just
Okay.
don't. My rating on Lady in the Water would be 1. 1 star. I'll be nice and not give it half. I'll say 1. It was, for me, it was painful. I just, and his whole thing of, it's a bedtime story that he made up for his kids, and then he just added to it, and there's all this explanation, and it's like, dude, just make a movie, just make a good movie. I don't give a shit if this is a story for your kids. I don't care. I just don't. What would you give it? Oh, you already said 3.
I said 3.5.
God, I think that's way too high, man. But okay, I mean but it's your...
I enjoyed it. Like I said, there's movies after that I gave a worse rating, so I really can't.
Now, the next one, which is 2008, The Happening. So
jealous, you got a better cover.
So this has 2 ratings.
I get Marky Mark. Isn't that what they used to call him, Marky Mark?
I think he'd probably punch you. If you did. He wants to have that go away. This is so this, and I'll do my ratings immediately on this. There's 2. To me, this is a fucking 5 out of 5, because to me, it's one of the worst movies ever made, and I absolutely love it. It goes on my list, and like I said, I watch it every year on Earth Day, or I could just watch it anytime. It doesn't matter. Now, as far as a movie goes, oh, dude, this is like 1.5, 2, maybe, because it's that bad. The wind. They get chased by the wind. How do you outrun the wind? And he talks to a tree. He talks to a plant. It's a
plastic tree.
Oh, is it plastic? That's plastic. That shows how dumb his character is. He's supposed to be a science teacher.
Yeah, he's supposed to be a science teacher. I'm like, how?
Oh my God. But I loved it. All the people hanging from trees, all the construction workers falling off the building. Was it a tiger or a lion that rips off the guy's arms and stuff? And the guy just puts his arms out. I mean, all that stuff.
Was it lions? I think they were lions. I think they were lions. Yeah.
And nobody's good in this. I can't even say at least the acting is good. Like, nobody is good in this. Mark Wahlberg, Zoe Deschanel is awful. John Leguizamo is awful. I mean, he's a little better. Betty Buckley from Eight Is Enough wasn't bad. She was kind of like the crazy woman in that house.
Oh, okay. I think the little girl was the best actor in the whole movie.
Oh God. I mean, you could be right, because it does say daring, refreshing, and scary. This is from the Seattle Post Intelligent? No. Just be called Seattle Post. So it is rated R for violent and disturbing images. How long is this thing? Where is it?
An hour and a half.
That sounds right. That sounds like what it should be.
Almost every one of his movies is about an hour and 40 minutes, usually. Most of his movies are like an hour and 40-ish minutes. Like, except for Glass. Glass and Split are the only ones that are almost 2 hours.
Okay.
I think Glass is a little over 2 hours, but.
Oh wow. Okay.
Okay. I gave The Happening 3 out of 5.
God, another like.
And let me explain my ratings. Okay, 5 is I will definitely rewatch it. I don't do it based on how good the movie. I guess like would I rewatch this again, or is it worth rewatch? 4 is it wasn't great, but I still enjoyed it. 3 is average. Like, I enjoyed it, but there's still problems. 2 is like, there's a lot of problems, probably won't rewatch, and 1 is no, won't rewatch.
Okay.
And so far, only 1 has a 1 so far.
Okay. So then the one that came after that, oh my God. This is the film that he should have never been able to make another movie. And he does cameo in this, The Last Airbender. it's he plays some fire thing, like guy. Uh,
He's he's one of the people that were hanging when the blue spirit came in to save him. He's not. You don't even see his face, so you can't even tell he's there.
okay, well, maybe that's probably a good thing that a lot of people don't know. I didn't notice when I saw it originally, but I saw it a long time ago, and then I just read about it.
Yeah,
um, it is literally one of the worst movies ever made. It's the acting by that lead kid is so bad that the film should have been never released. Never. I can't believe he had that budget. I can't believe that he made any movies after this. It is so dreadful and insulting to anybody who likes the animated series, which I don't care about. So it's not insulting to me. It's just insulting as a movie.
to be honest with you, I've never seen the cartoon, and I did grow up during that time, but I couldn't get into the art style of it. So this is the only way I know. And from what I've read from people that were fans of the series, he tried to take the first 20 episodes and jam it into like an hour and 40 minutes.
Jeez.
So a lot of stuff that he had to cut out, which added more story and more, which would have made it would have been better if he would have just took the first 10, like and just like made like where they go to to get the village back or something like that. That probably should have been the end, but whatever.
Yeah, it's
It's not good.
when I was watching some videos for our video here, when I was there's a few YouTubers that I watched that reviewed his stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and so I just rewatched that, and it's like, oh God, they're so right. Just how did he make movies after this? The kids are so bad. The acting is so horrible. I don't know how when they're I don't know, maybe on set it was better, but when you're in the editing bay, it's like, fuck, these kids are awful. What are we gonna do? Nothing, I guess. We'll just release it. Oh God. Okay,
I
let's.
mean, it. You can tell it was a Nickelodeon film because Nickelodeon films have those very. I think if they would have made it a serious film and tried not to make it like jokey, like funny, I think it may have been a little bit better. Maybe not much, but at least a little bit better.
I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. So what would your rating on it be?
I gave it a 2 out of 5.
Oh well. I once no no, if I give it a 2, then that means maybe it's as good as The Happening in a bad way.
You
I
can give
have
it
to,
a 1.
yeah, I have to give it a 1. I really do. It is something I never want to watch again. Never. I just heard how bad it was, and so I watched it. I avoided
Yeah.
it. And
Oh,
I yeah, and I just I had to watch, I guess technically 4 films to do this video to, but
yeah.
it wasn't one of them. I saw it so long ago.
I I I I did suffer through this one because I haven't seen it the whole way through. I've seen enough to know it was bad, but I just like, you know what? I watched all the other 14 movies. I might as well just suck it up and do it. This DVD, or not this one. This DVD copy was actually sealed for like 5 years. I
Ah,
only bought it because I was an M Night fan.
ah,
It's the only reason I bought it, so I can
you,
because I
you
am a complete.
yeah, you got to take the good with the bad if you're a completist. That's that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
So
am a completist. So I at some point I will get a DVD copy of Wide Awake, and if I can find a copy of his Praying with Anger movie, I'd like to have a copy of it, even if I have to resist to just burning it on a DVD from ripping it from YouTube, burning it on DVD, and putting it in my collection.
sure,
I'll do it.
I would do it if I was collecting his stuff too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So this it was a few years later, 2013, and he did After Earth.
With your favorite actors.
So I hated this movie, and the two of the reasons are both last name Smith. I hate the Smith family. I Will Smith was okay until he got completely cucked by Jada, and he won't do anything about it. The original idea for this film was that they crash in a truck in the woods, and he's pinned in the truck, and his son has to go find help, and he meets up with whatever animals and stuff are in the woods, and then they changed it to science fiction, sci-fi with these weird aliens that attack their home world and all this, and Will Smith is stuck in the ship, and his useless son, I keep wanting to call his son Jada. What's his son's name? Jaden. I can't stand him. I'm so glad that Cobra Kai does not accept his Karate Kid, which is actually Chinese. It's not. It's judo. It's not karate. But they just stuck with it. Fuck, it's so stupid. But they Jaden wanted the rights to the Karate Kid for his birthday, and they bought it for him. And even on Cobra Kai, it still does list some of the Smith family, but they've said in a not so direct way that Karate Kid is not in the same universe. So it's like, thank fucking God. I cannot stand Jaden Smith, but recently I have agreed with him a little bit because of this whole Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith thing. I hate Willow, that stupid song with Whip My Hair or whatever it is. And now Will Smith has forced his children upon us. I can't stand Jada Pinkett Smith. I mean, what a narcissist. She's a sociopath. And Will Smith, now I've lost all respect for him. All respect. I still like his earlier films. I thought Men in Black stuff was good. I like Independence Day. I like I Am Legend. But
I like French Prince of Bel-Air back when that was on.
I never watched it, but I'm people liked it, so I can't criticize it. But it's the recent stuff. Also, this is the film that did not promote M. Night Shyamalan. If you watch the trailers and stuff, there's no promoting him. Like at no point does it say from M. Night Shyamalan, the director of. It's just like Will Smith and Jaden.
Wow.
Like I think they from Last Airbender.
The story was originally written by Will Smith and them. So I guess Will Smith wrote the story or was responsible for the story somehow.
Which I think is the truck crashing, which is his.
Yes, but then I guess M. Night's like, well, let's do something a little different,
the idea I don't think is hideous. So they land on Earth, which is supposed to be destroyed. And there's creatures and monsters there. And of course, they land on a beautiful planet. But Jaden has no idea, like what a wolf is or anything like that, what an eagle is. And so he's terrified. If they would have played off of the idea that, oh my God, this place is horrible. And then when we land, it's beautiful. And he doesn't understand that
we're the ones that destroyed it. Because we left, now all these animals can flourish, the earth can grow, the trees and all that can take back over. I mean,
it would have been a little more interesting because, like, why are you afraid of an eagle? Like, I understand they have talent so they can poke your eyes out or whatever, and I think like the eagle was really big.
Plus, this thing was big, huge eagle. I will say one thing about this stuff. The only thing that I liked about the movie was the scenes with the animals. Like when they were showing like the warthog is going into the hole before the planet freezes over. The bird sacrificing himself or him or herself, whatever it is, for Jaden Smith was kind of sad. But I'm like, I wouldn't have wasted my life on him. I would just let them go.
The eagle probably didn't know who he was. Otherwise, it wouldn't have done it.
Well, no, if you remember, he tried to save the bird's young from getting eaten by the wolf, not wolf, but like cheetah looking things. They're like cheetahs, but
Yeah.
like yeah. So
Yeah,
I
because
guess
it,
the
it
bird.
it protects Jaden. Yeah, like it gets cold or snowy or something, and then yeah,
Mhm,
then it dies and he pops out. It, I guess if you're going to call something such a horrible place to be and then it's beautiful, I don't think that
mhm.
they really played off of that. I don't think that that's
No,
that
I think
that's
what it is that, but the original story, the story goes that we destroyed the earth. We made it so uninhabitable that we couldn't uh we couldn't stay there. So we moved to another place, and then I guess at that time, basically, they all the animals in nature took back over the planet, and they adapted with the atmosphere, and which they which normal people couldn't breathe on, but they learned to adapt and breathe and stuff like that. So
which is how it should be, really. I mean, if
yeah,
you remember during COVID when we were all locked inside, people were seeing the deer roaming around cities. I mean, it really kind of was like I Am Legend. I mean, all of a sudden whales were popping up and dolphins and like
yeah.
everything was like that's how quickly stuff was turning back and which I don't have a problem with. But yeah, this just was
Yeah,
not.
sometimes I think we humans need to be stopped in our ways. Sometimes
Oh yeah.
I
Oh
will
yeah.
agree with that. It's just some things like, maybe we shouldn't be allowed to go out in the ocean. Maybe we shouldn't be allowed. Now, I don't mind people going to fish for for food and stuff like that, but
But when you're killing sharks for shark fin soup,
just to kill, no, I
yeah,
don't agree with
or
that.
murdering dolphins, you
If
know,
you're killing animals for food, that's one thing. But if you're just killing just to kill,
like big
I
game
have a
hunting.
problem.
Yeah,
Yeah, or
hunting endangered
just to have
species.
a deer's head on your wall. I mean, if you were planning on eating that, okay, whatever. I won't. I personally won't have a deer head on my wall. But
No.
if you did it to eat it, and you're like, hey, let's get this thing framed. All right, go for it. I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my other thing is, and I just remembered this, is the way Jaden Smith looks. He's always like this throughout the whole
He
movie.
he
It's like he's all scrunchy
he
up here.
kind of looked like he didn't want to be there. Like his dad forced him to do it.
Yeah, even look at him on the box. I mean, it's that he has this look and like everything that he's in. He has with like these veins or something, or his skin kind of comes down like that. See, he's doing it right there. He just has this I'm pathetic,
He's
weird
like a
look on his face. Yeah, all the time. And it's the stupid expression that he gives. I hate them. I can't stand them. I hate them. Okay, let's move on then. Oh,
well.
we have to
I
do review.
I gave it a 1 out of 5. I did say 2, but I decided to change it to 1
One,
because
definitely one. One.
I think Avatar was a tad bit better than this. I think my biggest problem with the movie was it had some terrible editing. If you look at the editing, like there were some parts where it just cuts for no reason. It felt like they just were throwing this movie together just to throw it together. I think like
God,
that.
maybe it was like 3 hours. And it cut it down. Thank God.
I
Man,
mean, I assume. I mean, holy
God,
crap.
it's awful. It's just awful. Now, all right. So 2 years later, 2015, we get The Visit, which is one of the dumbest movies I've ever seen with some of the worst writing I have ever heard. So this is so at no point in the mother's house there's no pictures of the grandparents throughout the little kid's life. The brother and sister, they've never seen a picture of the grandparents. They have no idea what their grandparents look like. I don't get it.
Yep.
It doesn't make sense to me. They would at some. I've never met my dad. He left when I was like born. I've never seen him. I've seen one photograph of him. and it's like him in like the 60s sitting in a chair. I have at least seen one photo of him. You mean to tell me that these grandparents don't have, I mean, I know the psycho grandparents took all that stuff and like put it down in the basement, but even in that house,
Even in
there's no.
you would think the mom would have a picture of her with of their mom and dad, but then
Skip,
again, the story was that she kind of like disowned her mom and dad at that point, and she like, didn't want them to know who they were, and just kind of like wanted to live their own life or something,
so
which doesn't sound realistic.
every photo was thrown away, it was burned, like everything in a photo album was gone,
It's a
like every
it's
single
a
thing.
possibility, or is because the way she was talking, like she just left. She never took anything. She just left up and left.
I
She
don't
left
know,
in a
man. It just seems like
it's
very coincident, and even the kids when they go to the psycho grandparents' house, so there's no. And like I said, I know they took the pictures and put them down below, but you would think the kids would go like, "Wow, you don't have any pictures of mom? There's nothing with you and mom in it. There's nothing. Okay, there's nothing." That to me is as bad as the stuff with Sixth Sense. That
I I didn't think about it because like I said, this was my first time watching it, so I didn't think about stuff like that at first. I was just like, okay, the found footage thing, if you can even call it found footage at that point.
oh, that's right.
I My problem with found footage is it has to be that someone found a camera and you are what you're seeing is the footage from this camera condensed down into like whatever, like an hour and a half or something like that, two
Yeah,
hours,
from like 15 hours worth of footage or whatever.
like
Yeah.
yeah, like 20 hours of footage. We condensed it down to you guys can see this is all true. This is not unfiltered, except for the stuff we cut out and all that. So yeah, I look at it more like they were shooting a documentary. Um, the cringy rap stuff, that was awful.
Oh, thank God I don't remember that. Oh my God, now I do. Yeah, yeah.
The kids trying to rap and all that, and
And the whole
um,
Hansel and Gretel thing, like she's trying to get the kids in the oven.
yeah, I remember seeing that in the trailer. So that was in the trailer. It's the scene where she's like, "Do you mind getting into the kitchen, the into the oven to clean it?" And it's like, "Are
Yeah, it's
you trying to
very.
kill these?"
Yeah,
Very
it's
creepy.
well, and it's funny that you bring up the stuff with found footage because Jonathan Moody and myself have been reviewing all the Paranormal Activity films, and
Mhm.
I think the first two. I know the first one does, but I think it's the first two. Um, it says like this is the police footage that was edited, and they found it. But then, kind of from there on, I asked Jonathan, I'm like, where is this footage coming from? Like, who found it, and who edited it all together? And he's like, well, maybe the police department, but it's like, there's nothing. Like, if the police department found all this footage, wouldn't they be investigating? But yet there's no police
Yeah,
activity in this. And maybe the
yeah,
police are involved in all of this stuff in Paranormal Activity. But I think after a while, people just, they just don't put that type of stuff anymore. It's just, oh, it's found footage. Somebody found it, somebody put it together, and that's it.
yeah.
You don't have to.
It doesn't need explanation or something
I
like that.
guess not anymore. And
To me, I'm like, okay, it has to make sense. Okay, to me, a found footage film has to be okay. This camera was found, or a thumbstick, or something like that, was found out in the woods in this location. It was brought to the police, and the footage you're about to see is from the 20 hours of footage. This is the stuff we are going to show you. Yeah,
yeah, it's I was not a fan of. I like the idea but the execution was bad.
Yeah.
Since it's found footage, I almost would have preferred it. Maybe this would have been lame. It is for M. Night to be M. Night and be like, hey, somebody sent me all this footage and I put it together, and you know, this is what we found. So if it's going to be found footage, maybe play himself and say that he's
Yeah,
the one who stuck it all
I
together.
don't think he had a cameo in this one, did he?
I don't think so.
I don't think he had a cameo.
No, I don't think, because most of it was at the grandparents' house.
Yeah.
Another one location.
Okay,
I mean,
so
I think it reminds me the most of The Sixth Sense, because I watched it, but I knew exactly what was going on, but I liked it. Watched it the second time and went, wait, this doesn't make any sense. Where's all the photos? Where's everything? I mean, like these kids they've never seen one photo of the grandparents. That just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
And then it just went down.
I did give it a 4 out of 5 because I did like it, but I can see problems with it.
1 out of 5.
You give it a 1? Okay.
1 out of 5.
Yeah. Fair.
I'm sorry. A lot of my problems are script issues. You know, and I get that he's got to be the guy with the twist. He doesn't have to be, but he's the guy with the twist.
I mean, the twist was those aren't your grandparents. Like, what? I don't know. I mean, I enjoyed it for what it was. Will I watch it again? Maybe. I mean, if I was ever doing like a whole M. Night marathon or something, then yeah, I would watch them again. But I don't know.
If I was with a group of friends and got a couple pizzas and a 12-pack of beer, I could sit through most of these and make fun of it with my friends. But I think now he's not as relevant as he used to be, because now Jordan Peele is out there. And for me, Jordan Peele is 3 for 3.
Okay.
So
I have not seen all of his. I think I've seen Get Out. I haven't seen Us or Nope. I think it's called Nope.
Nope. Yeah, I've seen Get Out twice. Loved it. I know a lot of people don't like Us, but I love since you haven't seen it, I won't say what it is, but I love
I know it's a doppelganger thing.
Yeah, I love the whole doppelganger thing, that they're all living underground. And then with Nope, it's an alien movie, and I thought he did a really good take on an alien. So so I think he's more relevant now than M. Night is. So okay, so now we get into 2016 with Split, which I really liked. I thought he did a great job. I thought he did, and that's a film that, of course, M. Night almost got canceled for, because hey, it doesn't show somebody with multiple personalities in a good light. It's negative. Fuck off. Fuck off. It's a good movie. He did a great job.
He was doing multiple personalities, but
did a good job.
What's that? Yeah. I thought. I think what the problem with a lot of people may have is that, yes, he has multiple personalities and he's the bad guy. Okay, but how many people that have multiple personalities actually do this? I mean, I'm not trying to put people down to have multiple personalities. I'm not trying to put them down at all, so don't take that the wrong way. But sometimes people like this could be dangerous people if you don't get them treated right. So,
there's a great film called Identity with John Cusack that deals with multiple personalities, which is brilliant. Sadly, it's directed by the guy who did the last Indiana Jones movie, but whatever. But James Mangold, who, in my opinion, was a great director until that. But that's another one that's really good. But it's almost like you can't have like Silence of the Lambs was criticized for like cross-dressing and transgender, saying, well, you know, how dare you portray somebody like that as a killer? Well, Jonathan Demme, who sadly has passed away, he was gay, and to take away the backlash, he made Philadelphia. You know, and so that Philadelphia was because of the backlash from Silence of the Lambs, in the same way that Spielberg made Schindler's List, and everybody was like, well, come on, it's, you know, it's not just Jews that had, you know, that were killed, you know, throughout time. So then he made an Amistad to kind of make up for that. And it's, I'm glad that in this case M. Night did not do something like that. I like Split. It's a good movie. It's got good performances. It's well made. It's well directed. And I thought it was quite good.
I mean, let's just say it. I mean, James McAvoy, I mean, I loved how each personality was, you could tell who it was. You know what I mean? Like, when he was playing, when Dennis was on there, you knew who Dennis was. When it was Miss Patricia, you knew who Miss Patricia was. When it was Hedwig, was freaking hilarious. That's the one who's the 9-year-old kid. He's like, yeah, man, you know.
I haven't seen it in a while, but yeah, I remember some of them, but not all of them.
Those are the main 3 that he did. Was the 9-year-old kid that was like, you know, 9 forever. The one he dressed, we wore the dress, was Mr. Patricia, and the one that was like all fancy was Dennis. And then there was one he did, I forget what his name was, but he had like the leather coat and like a weird looking hat.
Okay.
I think it was Barry, I think. So that was the only 4 you've seen in that one. The next one, Glass, actually shows more of them.
Okay.
I think he did all 23 or 24 if you count the Beast.
I don't remember. But, okay. So what rating would you give Split?
I gave it a 4.5 out of 5.
For an M. Night movie, I would give it a 5.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely a 5. Yeah. I think it was him back in form. It was very kind of like Unbreakable. So it was yeah. So and then after that, and of course, we're forgetting the ending of Split showed Bruce Willis in that diner, who was the character from Unbreakable,
and also mentioned Mr. Glass.
So everybody was like, "Oh shit, we got to gotta have that."
Because when they were talking about the Kevin's character from the Split, at the very end, they were all at the diner, and basically the lady's like, "Wow, it's almost like that one crazy dude that they put in an insane asylum like what, 15 years ago or something. What was his name again?" And then that's when Bruce Willis says Glass, and she looks like, "Ooh, who are you?" and walks away like, "Mr. Glass." And then the film shuts off.
We were so excited for now. We're excited for M. Night. Now it's like, now you got to do, you know, that sequel that has these people in it. And he did. And so that would be Glass, and that was 2019. And I know a lot of people did not like Glass. I did. I liked it. And I want, like I said, I want that Blu-ray. If I can't have the Blu-ray, fine, I'll get the DVD, but I want that trilogy. I think it's the best that he has done. And if I had to give like a 1 through 5 rating on that trilogy, it would definitely be a 5. Definitely. Yes. I think
I did give this one a 5 out of 5. I gave this a 5 out of 5.
I would 4.5, but more towards 5.
Okay.
More towards 5 than a 4.5. But still, yeah, maybe it is a 5. Because what I loved with it is I thought the performances were good. I liked all of them together. I mean, it was kind of that universe,
Yeah.
and I think what most people were let down by was like Bruce Willis died in a puddle, so people didn't
So
like.
they drowned him. And
Yeah,
remember,
but it
the
was like a
beast threw
puddle.
him in the threw him in that water, and then because Mr. Glass told him, "Hey, his weakness is water. There's a thing of water over there. Make sure you put him in there so you can get weak."
Yeah, so I don't think people like that too much, like it wasn't big enough. But I remember that they keep showing in the background, there's that tower, that like really big building
Hmm.
that I think Glass keeps mentioning that he's going to blow up or something.
Yeah.
And everybody, I think, had a feeling that there was going to be like an Avengers type ending with that building where there's going to be like a giant fight. And instead, it
Hmm.
just ends in the parking lot, which
Yeah.
I loved. I loved that we didn't get that Avengers ending. I'm glad that we didn't use that building. I'm
Hmm.
glad that stuff just took place in the parking lot. I mean, I thought that was perfect.
I I will give. I think this whole trilogy does something with the superhero genre that we've never seen before. You every superhero movie, it's more, let's fight scenes, let's get flashy explosions, let's show these people flying, let's show these people shooting webs out of their hands, let's show this person flying, let's show this person shooting laser beams from his eyes. Let's have some normal people that have real life problems be a superhero, a supervillain, and a mastermind. Let's just have a normal. And
Yeah,
yes, maybe the mastermind does mess up. He's human. Mr. Glass is human,
right. He's not
but
Lex Luthor.
he was. But did was but here's my question: he did he mess up, or was this his whole intention?
I tend to think that he was doing manipulation, that there was never going to be a fight, that there, like
Yeah,
at this building, that it was just, yeah, pure manipulation. And
yeah. I
yeah,
think
I,
he was
I,
just
I do need to rewatch it. I think I've only, I believe I've seen it once. No, maybe twice. I've seen,
singer.
I'm changing my review to 5. I'm going to give it 5 stars.
Okay.
Yeah. And the only thing I really don't like is I don't like the title. I don't like just Glass. Because if you know, it's like he's unbreakable. He
Hmm.
has split personalities. So
Hmm.
maybe this could have been something like shattered or broken instead of just glass.
I think the only reason he did that was because um, Mr. Glass is breaks like glass, so that's why they called it glass. I like the title.
Yeah,
Could I have used it better? I don't know if like like shattered would work with it. I mean,
keep
it could. I'm
keep it one word, but yeah, I don't know. I just, yeah, I'm not a fan of that. So, but I think it's a great trilogy. I really do.
yeah.
And
Out of all of M. Night Shyamalan's movies, I think this one, this trilogy is probably his best.
oh yeah,
His best out of all of them.
yeah, by far. So yeah, so five and five. Yeah, so we're
Yeah.
definitely in agreement on that one.
Mm-hmm.
And then after Glass, oh god. Oh god.
Old, which I do not have a physical copy
Uh,
of.
so 2021 is old. Okay. I hated this movie. I hated it. This is one of the ones that I had to watch for this video. I'd never seen it. I have not read the graphic novel that it's based on.
It's
Um
based on a graphic novel.
yeah, of the same name. Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm noticing a theme here. Every time he makes a movie that's based on something else that's not his original work, it seems that he does worse in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Avatar was a complete failure. After Earth wasn't even his original story. He just kind of did his own twist on it. Kind of failed because the Will Smith was actually credited as the writer on that one. as a writer on it, I should
Yeah,
say.
he's like a co-writer with somebody else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
This one,
Yeah, yeah, he's a co-writer.
yeah,
This is I love the science stuff. I love all the stuff with the hotel. I love that whole thing. I really like the science and all that. I hated everything on the beach. God, did I hate everything. I didn't like any of the characters. I thought that the little girl who ended up being a teenager who got pregnant was annoying as fuck. Uh, um, I mean, I'm confused by that. I guess when it's the little girl and the little boy that they age and they get horny and then they just fuck and then she gets pregnant, but they still have the brain of like an 8-year-old. And the when he's like the teenager or whatever it is, the one woman goes, because he goes, yeah, we were just messing around. And the woman goes, well, even messing around once, somebody can get pregnant. So is that kind of like anti messing around? Or I don't know. I hated everybody in this. I hated everybody. If there was a prequel, I would prefer just to watch everything in the hotel and this and like the lab and stuff. But the soundtrack was awesome and it was
yeah,
beautifully shot, especially
yeah.
with the oceans and the
Oh yeah,
beach. Oh man, it's probably his best looking movie.
yeah, yeah. That would explain my rating. I gave it a 3 out of 5, which makes it an average film. Um,
One.
Again,
I'm back to one.
you're here back to one. Okay,
Back to
okay,
one.
that's I agree with you. It was very beautifully shot. The scenery was beautiful. Characters were not great.
What the
It was
rapper's
a very
name is mid-sized sedan? That's the rapper's name? Oh, and what is it? The one woman gives the story about the guy that she screwed over, and his name is Geppetto, like something like Geppetto. It's like, what the fuck? Why don't
yeah.
you just
It's
call
a
him
weird.
Steve? It's like some weird name that she gives, and it's like, just call him Steve or Chris, or why do we have to have this bizarre name?
I have no idea, man. I'll tell you what, John. You and me can remake old. Tell him we will tell him that it's we made it better.
Let's remake it in space.
So as we're on the moon, we age rapidly.
Yeah, they go to like one of those like sea of something or other on the moon, and when they're there, they start aging. So it's or maybe they age backwards. So it's
Oh
like a
God.
group of older astronauts that go there and they start aging backwards. So which plus if you're aging this quickly and stuff, wouldn't it be painful as hell? I mean, we've seen enough werewolf movies to know that, especially like The Howling and American Werewolf in London, where this stuff would be painful as hell. I mean, your bones are just like ripping, muscles and everything.
Yeah. And the scene where they were cutting the tumor out of her.
Oh
Wouldn't
my!
she have felt that and woke up?
I would think, yeah. It reminded
I
me, yeah.
I
It's
find it hard to believe that they were cutting her and she was passed out the entire time, and they're ripping their as it's rapidly healing. They are continuing to rip her skin apart so they can
some of
get
that
this
stuff
thing
I did
out.
like. Yeah, that I kind of liked. But yeah,
It was
it's
the
impossible.
visual stuff. The visual effects were good. I'm not saying that, but it's like some of the story, like again, going back to the Sixth Sense. Some of the things don't make sense.
No, and like her tumor ended up being like the size of a grapefruit, and it reminded me
The
of that
size of a
Roger
volleyball.
Corman film, Forbidden World, that Jim Wynorski wrote, and he was one of the writers on it, and it's an alien ripoff, and the scientist, they're trying to kill the alien, and the scientist is smoking, and he has cancer. And he goes, the only way of killing this thing is you have to take my cancer out of me and like throw it down its throat. and they do that. He while they're operating on him and they take out the cancer, he dies, and they take it, and yeah, it's like this big, and they throw it down the monster's throat, down the alien's throat, and it dies. And it reminded me of that. And Forbidden World, the Roger Corman movie, still did it better. Yeah, because at least the guy dies during it, so there's a sacrifice there. Yeah, I really did not like this film at all. I mean, except for the lab and the hotel stuff. That's it. I can't. I'll never watch it again.
To be fair, I only paid $5 for it, so I'm not too mad about wasting $5 on it. If I find it on okay.
I find these things on streaming sites that I don't pay for. I'm not giving those movies money. I'm just not. Okay, so I said 1, you said 3. Okay, so we got a rating on that one. And okay, so the last movie is 2023, and that's Knock at the Cabin, which I think, if you take out the trilogy, it's his best movie.
So it's his best standalone movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. If a friend said, hey, I haven't seen Knock at the Cabin, you want to watch it? I'd say, yeah. Yeah. I could do that. So I've never read the book, like I said earlier, I've heard that M. Night didn't get the book. He didn't understand it, which is the case for a lot of things, like how Stanley Kubrick didn't understand The Shining, which is why Stephen King hated it so much. So that's why it's Stanley Kubrick's The Shining and not Stephen King's. That I liked the idea of the gay couple being there with the kid, because then they even brought up, is this racism? Is this because we're gay? Is that why you're doing this? I like that. If they were straight, you wouldn't have that dynamic.
In the book, and in the book, it was also, so that's one thing he did stick faithful with the book with.
Okay.
In the book, they were a gay couple as well.
Oh, that's good. Okay. Yeah, so, I thought as it went on, and I liked the whole thing of like the one guy, like the one dad going, look, he's timing everything. And then how the one dad's kind of like starting to believe it a little bit more. Like, this can't just be time. This can't be a coincidence. I didn't mind it so much that it did have kind of a happy ending, I guess. I would have preferred to have the apocalypse, but it didn't bother me that much. So I liked it. I thought it was well shot, well made, well edited. I like seeing Dave Bautista in there. I thought he did a great job.
Bautista with old man glasses.
Yeah. And then,
it's a scene that it's something you would never see Dave Bautista in. Like, Dave Bautista, I mean, an ex WWE wrestler is now like that's built his character off of being a big, giant, aggressive monster turned into like some nice, calm gentleman.
Yeah.
I'm a giant but gentle.
And then you got Ron Weasley, who in Harry Potter is a nice guy and everything, and now has to sacrifice himself.
That's who that was.
Yeah, but that's
I did not know. I didn't recognize him with the beard and stuff.
I am going to double check this so I do not get corrected. And because, as I'm sure somebody will. Rupert Grint. Yeah, Ron Weasley.
Okay, and that's the one that played it in Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool deal.
Yeah. So it's nice seeing him. I like it when the Harry Potter people, in movies like that where the actors.
I haven't seen all the Harry Potter movies. I need to one day sit down and watch those at some point.
So there you go. If you watch them all, then we'll do a video on them. I've seen them all, so I enjoy them all quite a bit. Right. I think they're right up there with like the Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. But I did. There are some things in Knock at the Cabin that they don't make sense. Like when the tidal wave hits, why would the person be standing there and they're filming the tidal wave, and then they go back and film the people running, and then they go back to filming the tidal wave. There's things like that that don't really make, like, I understand why he's doing it, but I don't think that that would happen. I think that they would be filming and they'd be like, oh shit, and then they would just run, like turn and run and film.
Then maybe have him trip. The camera falls out of his hands. The camera just somehow lands. That it's pointing back at him. Oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
See,
unless it was
M. Night Shyamalan should hire us, John. I'm telling
you, we should. Yeah, we could rewrite his scripts. We could be like ghostwriters. We could, kind of pump them up. Now, that's unless that's done on purpose, and because the one guy is saying these are fake, they're it's like a visual effect. So unless we're supposed to think, oh no, maybe it is fake because nobody would do this and then this and then this, maybe, because it doesn't seem natural. But I don't know. I don't think so. I just think that it was I guess you could also say that for like the original Halloween, when Michael's killing his sister, and John Carpenter's even pointed it out that for some reason he's looking at his sister and then he looks up at the knife like that. And then it looks back down at his sister again, only so the camera could see him stabbing with the knife. And Carpenter has pointed out audio commentaries that it makes no sense, but they had to show the knife. So I don't know. It's a nitpick, but I guess I could let the.
I mean, let's be real here. Sometimes, I mean, like I said, M. Night does a lot of artsy things in his movies. If you, I mean, throughout every movie, there's been scenes. Like I said, he knows how to shoot beautiful scenery. So, a lot of times you see stuff. It's like, that's very beautifully shot. That.
Yeah,
why
he
we're looking at that?
Shoot a movie. Yeah.
Yeah, he. I mean, I think he'd be. I like him as a director. I think he'd be better off being like a cinematographer or something like that.
Well,
or a producer.
I mean, he picks this. Yeah, probably a producer, because it'd be the cinematographer that he tells. He would tell the guy the shot, and then or woman, and then then they make it beautiful.
I guarantee you, he's probably in control of that, because the way because when you see, I can see him as the type person, if he wants it shot a certain way and an actor moves out of the way, he'll be like, no, let's reshoot that part. You stepped out of line right there.
I mean, it's possible. I think that he went through his whole ego thing from, because when you got Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, Signs, his ego's probably really huge on The Village, Lady of the Water, The Happening. Then he's probably getting a little more humble, The Last Airbender, because it bombed so bad.
Yeah.
And then he becomes even more humble because of After Earth. And then he's like, okay, let's go back a little bit to basics with The Visit. And maybe from that point on, he's become a little more, like, I have. I shouldn't be a dick.
I'm not. I'm not nothing special. I'm a human just like everybody else. Let's just film a film. Let's just film a movie that everyone will enjoy.
Yeah, because I always use Vin Diesel as an example on that, because he did go through that. I met him at Sundance in 2000 when The Boiler Room came out. And he was at a Spike Lee party that I was at. And Vince Vaughn was there too. And I shook his hand. I had a brief conversation with him. He was very nice. And then you hear later on when like the Chronicles of Riddick come out, and all of a sudden it's, if shirt stays on, if it comes off, you owe me an extra $5,000. All of a sudden he became this guy. And then I think after stuff started bombing and that's when he did Riddick, which was more of an independent movie. He then became, because he had to buy the rights. Well, actually, he got the rights from Universal because he was in Tokyo Drift. That was his exchange, is, I'll be in Tokyo Drift at the end if you sell me the rights to Riddick. but that was more independent made. And then he seemed more humble after that.
Yeah.
And now he seems to kind of be less of that, hey, you know, if my shirt's off, it's $5,000 guy.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people go through that though, and I think M. Night definitely went through that because
I mean, you look at anyone that's famous. I'm pretty sure everyone goes through a phase of, hey, you know, humble beginnings. Then they get cocky and they're like, oh, I can do everything. Hey, I'm super great. I'm special. And
right.
then when they get knocked down to size, they're like, oh, maybe I'm not that special. Maybe I can mess up. Maybe I can make mistakes.
Yeah,
Okay, well, I'm not going to be a jerk no more.
yeah. So hopefully he's kind of back to that. Oh, so did we give ratings or not?
I gave it a 3 out of 5. I was making an average movie. I
I'm
enjoyed it enough that I liked it. Wasn't my favorite movie of his. Like I said, I prefer M. Night to do his own original things when he makes his own stories, like The Sixth Sense and The Shining, as even The Village. If you know, I don't know, you know what I mean. But even if it was a god awful movie, but I prefer him to do his own thing, not try to do other people's things.
okay. I give it a 4.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not as good as the trilogy, but I think that it's the best thing that he's done in years. You know, it's like you said, like a standalone. It's the best thing that he's done, and it's also controlled. It's a very controlled M. Night film. Like it's not crazy.
Yeah.
You know, it's just shot. You know, and it's got a good soundtrack too.
Yeah.
So and it's one location. A lot of his stuff is one location, more or
Yeah,
less.
I think the only movies that are multiple locations, the
Happening wouldn't
the
be.
sixth, the Happening, the Sixth Sense, and well, maybe the Sixth Sense. Yeah, it was multiple locations. Like it was.
I mean, yeah, not Sixth Sense, not Unbreakable. Signs pretty much is. Village is. Lady in the Water is. Happening is not. Last Airbender is not. After Earth is not. The Visit is. Split, I think, is because it's mostly in that asylum. Glass is not.
Underneath the Split is that's the one where he's underneath the zoo.
Okay. Glass isn't, I would say. Old
No.
is. And Cabin, Knock at the Cabin is.
Yeah.
You know,
so there's a handful that he's done like multiple occasions, but for the most part, it's one place.
Yeah, and then all I'll say is we kind of went over these, but I would say She's All That. A lot of people like they did a remake where they reversed it instead of the girl being nerdy. It's a nerdy guy. I heard it was pretty bad. I saw it when I was a kid. It's or teenager or whenever it came out. Well, 99. God, I wasn't a kid. I was in my 20s. It's cute, you know, it's like a romantic comedy thing. It's got a huge fan base. Stuart Little, fun. I enjoyed it. Never saw the sequel, but it's a cute movie. And,
he did Stuart Little 1.
Yeah, it doesn't say Stuart Little
2.
No, it just says.
I thought he did 2. Okay, that was my mistake. My bad.
Yeah, just Stuart Little is all it says. It doesn't say part 2.
All right.
And then Devil. To give a rating on Devil is I would give that 4 out of 5.
Okay.
So, here this is it does give his acting. Okay, so Praying with Anger, yeah, he's the main guy. The Sixth Sense, he plays Dr. Hill.
Yeah, that was a cameo.
Unbreakable, he's credited as Stadium Drug Dealer.
Yeah.
Signs, we know that's he plays Ray Reddy.
Yeah.
The Village, credited as Guard at Desk.
Yeah.
Lady in the Water.
Right at the end there, when the one guard comes to get the medicine for the blind girl, you see him in the reflection of the glass.
Oh, okay.
When he's opening up the medicine cabinet.
Lady in the Water, we know he's like a big character in that. The Happening, Joey voice role.
I don't remember him talking though.
Maybe it was on
I
like
don't.
a phone or yeah, something like that.
Yeah, but I don't remember. I remember her picking up the phone and yelling at him to stop calling him. That's it.
Um,
Uh,
Last Airbender, he plays Firebender, uncredited. Now for
okay, that's
Split and Glass, and Unbreakable, he plays a character named Jai, Jai.
yeah.
So he plays the same character in all three. So stadium drug dealer. So he plays a drug dealer in all three.
In
Old.
Glass, when you see him, he looks over at Bruce Willis's character and says, "Hey, you used to work at the state at the as security at the stadium, right?" And he said, "Yeah." He goes, "Yeah, I met him. I was doing some pretty shady stuff, but I cleaned up, and now I'm a security guard now, or security something."
Oh, okay.
So
Ah, okay.
he wrapped up there.
There you go. Old. He is the hotel van driver.
I actually liked his acting role in that one, so I'll give him credit for that one. I thought he did a
Mm.
pretty good job on that one.
Knock at the Cabin. This is one that I did like because it was short. Infomercial co-host.
Yeah,
So that was nice and
I got a
short and
kick out
just
of
on the
that.
TV. Yeah. And he has two TV shows that I've never watched: Wayward Pines and Servant.
He directed Wayward Pines.
He's the producer, and I think he was the line producer, not line producer. He was the the guy that runs the whole show. He was a I'm blanking on his fucking name on it. It's yeah, executive was both executive producer and I'm blanking on what I want to say. He was basically in charge of the whole in charge of it. And then
Okay,
Servant, he directed some episodes.
okay. So
Other
he does.
acting, yeah, other acting credits, Entourage, he played himself. This Is Us, he played
That's a
himself.
strange. Wow. Why?
Yeah, he's in an episode called Sorry Harvey, so I'm guessing it's probably about Harvey Weinstein. This Is Us, he's in 2 episodes. And then that Servant Delivery Man, he's in 1 episode. Yeah, then it goes into like Rotten Tomato reviews and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
we don't need to get into all that. So if we had more time, we could get into budgets and ratings and all that. But that's no.
Yeah. Let's just
So
say I think his total budget for all of his movies was like $6 billion or something like that in total.
you know, some of them make money, more than some
Yeah.
probably. So all right. So is there anything else you would like to add, or should we wrap this up?
I mean, did you want to do the top 3 best and worst, or
Oh yeah. I'm sorry, we completely forgot, or I completely forgot. Okay, do you want to go first?
sure? You want to do best or worst first?
Let's do worst. I think that we've been
Let's do
sticking with
worst.
worst. Yeah,
All right,
first.
so we're doing top 3 instead of 5 because the dude's only got like 15. So I figured just do top 3 worst and top 3 best.
Okay.
All right, so number 3, I know you like it. I have to pick Knock at the Cabin. I don't know. It was okay, but I feel like it's not M. Night Shyamalan, but it's 3 because it's not his worst. It's not the worst.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate by everybody, but I'm
Wow.
sorry.
Okay.
Number 2 is The Last Airbender,
That makes sense. Okay.
and number 3 is After Earth.
That
Or
makes
number 1.
sense. That makes sense. Okay. Okay.
So
All right. So my worst 3 would be um number 3 would probably Lady in the Water.
okay.
Number 2 After Earth, and number 1 Last Airbender
Okay.
for the 3.
Oh, you
Yeah.
didn't. Okay, I'm surprised. I thought you were gonna put old on there somewhere.
At least well, if we had I never want to watch Lady in the Water again. I never want to watch Last Airbender again, and I never want to watch Last Earth again. I never want to
Okay.
watch Old again either, but yeah, I'll stick with those three. If we did
So
five,
I
it would
guess
definitely be on there.
okay. So old would be like if someone wanted to watch it, maybe
I could watch the
give me.
science stuff and the hotel stuff and the lab stuff. I could do that.
Okay.
So maybe when they're on the beach, that's when I would like go to the bathroom. I'd make a sandwich, that type of thing. I could do that.
There you
Okay,
go.
now so top three.
Top three. Number three. It might be a lot of people might get mad at me, but Signs.
Okay, no, that's fine. Okay.
I actually like Signs, even if
No,
the
I think
twist
Signs
is
is a good
really
movie.
stupid. I like
Yeah.
Signs. I loved it. Like I said, even if the twist was stupid and the aliens are weak against water, I still find it hilarious.
The whole movie is solid except for the water thing.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
number two, I'm about to give it to Glass. I
Okay.
thought Glass was a perfect ending to Unbreakable and Split. Did I get mad that they killed them all off? Yeah, but other than that, it was still I still thought it was a perfect ending.
Well, don't
And
worry
plus, it's
because
fresh.
since it's Hollywood, they'll just resurrect them as three women. So they'll all come back as like three
Don't say that, man. Don't
diverse
say that to me,
women.
man. Don't do it. No, no,
They could do it.
no.
They could do that way.
Don't make it a feminist movie then. Great.
Yeah. So like Glass would
Don't.
be like a black woman, and then like a Bruce Willis's character can be maybe like a lesbian, like a tough lesbian, and then Split would be a more of a feminine woman that kind of goes back and forth between a tough girl and like a little kid. We got the movie right there, and then the doctor
Oh,
would be the one that's talking to them would be like an evil white man. We got it. We got it. M
don't.
Night, call us.
Don't.
We got it.
Don't give Hollywood any more ammo, man. And then my number one will be The Sixth Sense.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, I'm in the minority in that one. Um, so I understand. A lot of people love that film.
Okay.
Now, mine, I am not including the trilogy because though I could
Okay.
do those three right there and I'd be
Okay.
done. So I'm pushing those
Makes
aside.
sense.
So
Okay.
I'm going to say number three would be Signs. So I'm with you on
Okay.
that one.
Okay.
Number two, oh God, I've limited myself. Number two, in a very bad way, would be The Happening. I'm going to throw The Happening in there.
Okay.
And then number one would be Knock at the Cabin. So your worst
Okay.
is my best.
Okay. Okay. Well, actually, to be fair, Knock at the Cabin's number three, so that's my. It's the one that I can see myself watching again. The other two, I don't ever want to see again. The only reason I have them in my collection is because I am a completist. So I'm still working on getting all of his movies, but that's a work in progress.
And I would recommend to you Devil. I think it's worth
Okay.
owning, especially try to find it on Blu-ray because it is a
Okay.
really nice film and it's another one location, six
Okay.
people. So I recommend, since you're a completist, I do recommend that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you're not a complete M. Night Shyamalan hater. You just don't particularly think he's the greatest thing ever.
No, I don't think people should be compared. Like bands, people they always compare bands like One Direction. They're like, oh, they're the next Beatles, and they weren't. And Paul
No.
McCartney even said you should never compare anybody to the Beatles because they're never going to measure up. So
No.
I don't think that, kind of like with Jordan Peele, is they're like, oh my God, he's like the next Rod Serling. And so they gave him Twilight Zone. No, don't do that. Don't.
What people need to do is make M. Night Shyamalan is M. Night Shyamalan. Jordan Peele,
Jordan Peele,
Jordan
yeah.
Peele. Yeah, I'm sorry, I always get his name wrong. Jordan Peele is Jordan Peele. Steven Spielberg is Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
David Lynch is David Lynch. I mean, for God's sakes. But stop making these people the next Francis Ford Coppola. Stop making this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's, I mean, I guess Spielberg did Close Encounters and he did, M. Night did Signs, but you I don't really see any movies that resemble Jaws. I don't see any movies that resemble
No,
Sugarland Express. I don't
no.
see
I
1941. I don't see any of that stuff. So I think it's weird
no,
when people do those comparisons. And
no.
like
I
uh,
believe it should be one. It's M Night Shyamalan. That's who he is. That's who it always should be. Stop comparing. I hate the comparison game. I've hated it for years because then that puts you in the perspective of, ooh, then that must mean he does movies just like said whoever director they compared him to, and then you watch it and you're completely disappointed because it's nothing like that
yeah.
director.
And Spielberg didn't have twists. I mean, I get when somebody goes, "Oh, I haven't heard of M. Night Shyamalan. What type of films does he do?" And if somebody goes, "Oh, well, he does movies like Steven Spielberg," that I could see because, oh, okay, I like Steven Spielberg, but I don't think it should be he's the next Steven Spielberg.
No.
No, no, he's not, because that's who
What
he
I would
was
do
compared.
if someone asked me, I've never heard of M Night Shyamalan. I've never seen any of his movies. What would you compare him to? What would you? How would you explain his movies? I would tell him, well, he's a guy who likes to make tries to make more original movies, and likes to make twists that no one see coming.
Yeah,
That's my elevator pitch.
he makes bad Twilight Zone episodes a lot. Sometimes they succeed, but mostly they fail. These are the
I
rejected scripts from Twilight Zone.
the rejected scripts we get. These are the scripts that we didn't use. We just gave them to M Night Shyamalan. He'll take care of it.
I mean, there are. I'll use Tom Cruise as an example. They've called Cocktail, Top Gun with drinks. They called Days of Thunder Top Gun on wheels. So
Hmm.
it's there are these comparisons that people can
They've
make.
done it for years. I mean, it's never
So
going to stop, and it's probably never will stop. So
no, yeah. So it's all right. Okay. So anything else?
that is everything. That's everything M Night Shyamalan I got. So
Okay, and I think we've talked basically everything.
yeah.
So all right, so let's we'll wrap this up, and yeah, and that's
All
it.
right. Sounds
So
good.
all right. Well, thanks everybody. Thank you for being here. I did not know that we could talk about M. Night for a little over 2 hours, but we did. Yay! Yay
M Night
us!
Shyamalan.
Yay us! And and now we'll have to figure out what to do next month.
Hey, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we always do. So all right, everybody. Thank you for watching, especially if you made it to the end. Please like, subscribe, share if you would like. Put down below what your favorite M. Night movies are, or what the worst ones are, or something about M. Night. And yeah, so that's it. Okay, so bye everybody.
See you later.
Bye. Bye.